So, welcome to the Anfield podcast after a long time. I'm Iranik here, and today I will be talking about Liverpool's upcoming game that is today against Manchester City in UEFA Champions League quarterfinals first leg, and we will be playing at Anfield. I'm really sorry that I couldn't post any podcast for a longer period of time due to some technical reasons again, but I can't help it. I couldn't help it, even though I tried my best to. But anyhow, let's talk about this game that is happening today. Yesterday, we also Real Madrid winning 3-0 against Juventus, and it was an amazing fixture. And we hope today we will get to see another amazing game of football between Liverpool and Manchester City. So, talking about our team, we are stuck with two bad news. One is that Joel Matip has been ruled out for the season, and he won't be playing today's game against City. And we only have just two centre backs right now on the for the playing 11. That is, we are left with Dejan Lovren and Van Dijk because Klavan has also been ruled out for the clash, and so is the case with Joe Gomez, who has been ruled out for two to 3 weeks, as told by uh, our coach. That is told by Jurgen Klopp. That's how things stand for us, and we will have to be very careful in this game that we don't get injuries to our center back, our available first team center backs. Else, it would be a difficult time for us because we have a game against Everton next, and after that, we are traveling away to Etihad Stadium to play City. So this is really a time for us to just. Uh, be cautious and play our best football. Of course, I mean we need to keep the clean sheet in today's fixture. Although it you can't be sure when you're facing side like Manchester City that you could keep a clean sheet. But if we do well like we did in our last fixture against City, we for one hour we were holding a 4-0 lead, and that was looking beautiful. But we need to keep that throughout the 90 minutes, and we shouldn't be giving away any away goals because ultimately those are the things that build up and make the difference in such competitions. So let's talk about our starting 11. We should start with, of course, on the back of goalposts we will be having carriers, and our center backs will be obviously Van Dijk and Lovren. On our right back, although I would wish we could start Klein, but I don't think he's in a position to really play today because he has just came out of an injury and we can't risk him because we also what happened to Adam Lalana in the last game. He came on the field and he pulled up something on his thigh, and he has been again injured, and it's something to do with his hamstring. So it's a bad thing when such incidences happen, and we have to be careful. So I don't expect Klein to be starting in this game, and I I would rather feel James Milner there. Though if we feel Milner on the right back position, there will be issues about the midfield. But for me, I would pick James Milner on the right back position instead of picking Trent Arnold because of his inexperience, and he isn't really doing that great work defensively. Attack wise, he's a really good player to have to be in a team, but defense wise, he's having some issues. So I won't start him in the starting level. And now moving on to our left back position, I will pick Andy Robertson for that position. Of course, he's our best left back in the team, and he's receiving accolades for his performances recently, and there's no point to not pick him. Now moving on to our midfield, uh, Amri Chan is a doubtful person for the game, so I think Henderson will go, and alongside Henderson, there will be Oxlade Chamberlain and Gini Wijnaldum. He will be starting in the midfield, as I expect it to happen. And of course, for our front three trio, it will be Salah, Mane, and Firmino. again, and I hope we really perform well in this game and start with some really quick goals like the ones we did in our last fixture against City in the league. I think it was Oxlade Chamberlain who opened the account in that game, and he really scored that goal in a sharp manner. He picked the spaces, and that was beautiful sight to see from Chamberlain, who arrived this year to Anfield. Now talking a bit about what's being said in the press. Klopp has recently said that about Pep Guardiola, that Pep raises the bar, but I think rather than just stand and applaud, our job at Liverpool is to keep focus on what we are doing to give ourselves the chance to jump even higher. So that's true. We should focus on ourselves and what we have to do today. Klopp also said that returning to the feelings around this game and tie specifically. I hope everyone involved can embrace the joy of being part of it rather than allowing the intense focus to create pressure that numbs the excitement. So that's another point from our manager Klopp. Klopp also adds that those of us blessed to be part part of it in person tonight and then in Manchester the week after should maybe take a moment to reflect on that, embrace the intensity, embrace the positive emotion it creates. So Klopp is only talking about or about being in the moment and embracing whatever happens. If we win, then it's good. If we don't, then it's all right. We should appreciate whatever is happening in that moment, and we should embrace that we reach this far in the competition. I mean, it applies to both the sides. Both the sides are playing some really great football. Of course, Manchester City is playing on another level. That's why they are just a win away to win the league title. Now, looking at what's being said by our captain, Henderson said the reality of us is that we are facing a world class side coached by a world class manager, but we haven't won a raffle to be at this stage. We have earned it. Absolutely, we have earned our place in the quarterfinals by our performances, and no one can deny that. Henderson also adds every player in our dressing room believes in ourselves and expects to win. There is no external pressure greater than what we place on ourselves. Of course, if you place a pressure on yourself, then it's not going to help. You will have to perform there without any fear, and with this kind of supporters we have, I think it's doable. And Henderson also adds that occasions like this are decided by who performs best over the two legs and who makes the most of the decisive moments. The team that takes their chances will stand the best chance of reaching the semifinals. Of course, if we do well, we will definitely be going forward in the competition. And there are some words being said by Andy Robertson as well. He says it was great to see Klein back on the bench for the first time this season, and I'm sure he's fit and ready to go. So it looks like something interesting is happening regarding to Nathaniel Klein for the game. Maybe he starts. We will have to wait for it to see. And he Robertson also says that Matip and Lovren have played a lot of games as well. Unfortunately, Joel is injured, but you have got Dejan Lovren who can step in, and you have got Klavan that's played a lot of games. And he also adds that of course every game we go out and try and keep a clean sheet, but we know how hard it is going to be against the world class team that's Manchester City. So he's also saying that we will do our best to win this game without conceding away goals. As I mentioned earlier, and but they will have to work hard. That's pretty true. We will have to be on our toes and don't allow any advantage for City to be in this game. If we do everything fine, then of course we will win this tie, and we can repeat what we did in the second meeting in the league, that is winning the game against Manchester City. So that's all I had in this podcast. What are your thoughts about the final full-time score predictions? You can let me know in the comments. As for me, I think 3-1 could be a wouldn't be a bad result. But even if we get victory by 2 goals to nil, I will I will be most happy with that. So that's all for this podcast. I will catch you soon in the post-match analysis of this game. So goodbye until then.